Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. We talk sports here every single night of the week, 7 nights. No exceptions. 412-575-2600. That is the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Welcome inside. We are here, and you can tweet us at KD Pomp and also at Chris Mueller, PGH. He is at 93.7, the Fan PM team. Hot and heavy today. And Chris, I want to start with just your thoughts about some of the things you may have heard about training camp today. There were some interesting things going on there. Way too early to make conclusions, but some of the new faces were making pretty good plays out there, at least from what I saw.
Well, I think that it was one familiar face at camp who made the biggest play of the day, and that was Richie Walsh holding an umbrella over you for your 6 o'clock shot, even as a storm rolled in. Think about that, what Richie did there, the gesture. He put his hair at peril to make sure that you stayed dry for your shot. Now, granted, I would imagine if any water did come down, his hair would have repelled it because of the quality and quantity of product in there. But still, a selfless gesture by our guy, Richie Walsh, and I wanted to make sure I took time to acknowledge that to start the show.
He did a very good job, and I can tell you he didn't need the umbrella because his hair, even without product, it will repel. It doesn't move. It's called Category 5. It's resistant to anything. Yes. So, like, but he was there for me, and I appreciate that. That's a very good teammate move, and I told him I owed him one now. So, yes.
If you could put what's on his hair on windshields, you'd repel even the heaviest of storms. It's very impressive hair, and I say that out of partial jealousy because look at me. Anyway, in all seriousness, I think the biggest thing I heard and saw tweeted, because the fans were there, so you could tweet whatever you wanted with impunity, as you pointed out with me earlier today on the radio. It was probably a negative. It was that Calvin Austin, a guy we heard all about. Well, Calvin Austin, once he's healthy, that's an extra dimension to this offense. Not a good start to get on Mike Tomlin's radar by having Mike Tomlin yell, "You got to catch that ball," after Mitch Trubisky throws a dime that's right in your hands 40-some yards downfield, and it goes right through the old wickets. So Calvin Austin, in a bad way, kind of popped. And then, I don't know, I didn't really hear anything else, Bob, that necessarily stunned me. Maybe that Kenny Pickett looked okay. They took a maybe symbolic first shot of practice, was a deep ball from Pickett to Pickens, which is something we all want to see successfully completed much more often this season.
Yeah, I was there, right there watching that Austin play. That was the second drop he had, and the Trubisky throw was really impressive, like 60 yards down the field, right on the money, and he dropped it. I thought Joey Porter Jr., who covered Austin a couple of times today, looked very good also. He did not give him any breathing room whatsoever, so that's certainly a good sign. All right, the big news of the day was the Pirates, though. Santana gone to Milwaukee. They need help there in Milwaukee because Rowdy Tellez is injured. I'll tell you what, though, Santana was better than I thought he could be defensively. I mean, he was one of the best in the game, at least if you look at the metrics. 3 home runs this past week. They're getting a nice player in Milwaukee. They gave up, of course, Johnny Severino, who the name means nothing to most of us. He's only 18 years old. But he's the kind of player that if you can get, and if he is a game-changing kind of player, we won't know the answer for a while, Chris. I mean, guess that's pretty much probably what they have to do. But Milwaukee got a good player, and it should help them win this division, I think.
I mean, they got a good player. Santana, by the metrics, has been the best defensive first baseman in the league this year. Greg Brown, I know, said he didn't even look at the metrics. The eye test told him that Santana had been excellent. And he looks like he's starting to hit for the Brewers, or will be starting to hit at just the right time for Milwaukee to pick him up. This Severino they got, I mean, one of the things I saw said about him, Bob, was that kind of made me roll my eyes. Oh, if he walks into the room, you'd think he plays strong safety or free safety at Alabama or somewhere like that. Wonderful. This is baseball. I don't really care if the guy looks like a Greek god. Can he play? I mean, he was in the rookie league for the Brewers. He's very young. And I think more than anything what the trade tells me is that Ben Cherington, with the assets he has to part with, is not looking to bring back assets that are going to help this team, at least with this deal, sooner rather than later. So that always, everything Cherington does here is going to make me kind of raise my eyebrow and say, is this a move designed to help a team that's on a pretty quick timeline to contention, or is this a down-the-road building move? And so far, one move, one down-the-road kind of player.
However, you could have gotten a name you might have been familiar with as a AAA guy, but, somebody who's maybe not going to be the difference maker. He's trying to hit a home run here, and if he does, Remember, O'Neal Cruz was a young kid, teenager, when they first learned about him. So it takes a few years sometimes, so we'll see. I don't know how you can judge this other than to wait. But now we'll talk about what happens next, because somebody else may be traded. Again, the deadline is Tuesday. We'll continue that when we come back. We got to take a break. It's 412-575-2600. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh's CW Sky Ahead with Sky 2 over Acrisure Stadium September 10th. The 49ers come to town. We'll be right back.